And good early morning. That's right, early morning. It's well after midnight. And how's it going, folks? Dirk here, GC Blues 45. Ah, boy, what a day of the NHL. By the way, Happy New Year once again to everybody. Can't believe it's 2026 already. Midterm elections and the Winter Olympics. We got the Winter Olympics coming up in February. We got the midterm elections in November. It's amazing. So, okay, we had 8 games on the dock today. Let's get right into it. Remember, if you haven't come across this video and happen to like it, let's get that thumbs up deal going. It's very important to us to keep the channel going. And remember, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe icon and be notified every time I upload a new video by clicking the bell icon. Once again, 8 games on the dock. We started off with a matinee hockey game with the Washington Capitals at the Ottawa Senators. Entering the matchup, Washington was 21, 14, and 5 and 47 points. Ottawa 18, 15, and 5 and 47 points. And at the end of 60 minutes, the Sens beat the Caps by the score of 4-3. Shots on goal were the Sens 32, the Caps 29. The Senators had 26 saves with the Capitals 28. Ottawa 0 for 4 in the power play with Washington 1 for 4 in the power play. After 2 periods, this was evenly matched, and it stayed that way. I'm very impressed. Both teams showed up to play. Very good game. I mean, it was a great game. Ottawa wanted this win more, and that's why they got it. So I am very impressed on how this game turned out. And yeah, so very good game. Way to go by Ottawa and Washington. So yeah, not bad. Next, we had another matinee game in um, Belmont, New York. The Utah Mammoth were at the Islanders. Entering the matchup, the Mammoth were 18, 19, and 3 and 39 points. The Islanders were 22, 14, and 4 and 48 points. And at the end of 60 minutes, the Mammoth beat the Islanders by the score of 7-2. Shots on goal were the Mammoth 21, the Isles 22. The Mammoth had 20 saves with the Islanders 14. Utah were 2 for 5 on the power play with the New York Islanders 1 for 5 on the power play. Now, this was the season finale. New York went 1, 1, and 0. Utah went 1, 0, and 1. So New York wins the record. Okay. Point wise, it went by Utah. Utah wins. They get 3 points. The Islanders got 2 points. Also, Utah outscores the Utah outscores the New York Islanders 9-3. Yeah, and I'll tell you why. Oh, no, sorry, 9-5. Sorry, 9-5, not 9-3. 9-5. I'll tell you why. The first meeting went into overtime in Utah, and that was a final of 3-2. Islanders won 3-2. So Utah had to score 3 or more goals to win the overall. They could, or should I say, at least 4. But guess what? They did more than that. They scored 7. That gives them the 9. Islanders scored 2. That gives them the 5. So that's why they won. So not only Utah outscored, but they also won them in the point battle with 3 points. So way to go by Utah. Um, so what I want to say about this game? Um, this was a blowout by Utah, 100%. The Islanders just did not show up to play. Hovat is injured right now. We don't know the extent of his injury until a later date. Probably we'll find out tomorrow how his injury is. Um, and will he miss the Olympics? Hopefully he don't. Um, but this was a total blowout by all means by Utah. They really dominated this game. They were up by two, so it was still kind of evenly matched. They just took over in the third. I mean, really wailed on in the third period. So that's why they won this game. The Islanders, they just did not show up after the third period. Basically, after that fourth goal got scored, they didn't show up at all. They were like, "There's another game. Let's." And they're going to miss Bo Horvat. If he's going to miss an extended time, they're going to miss him. So we'll wait and see what happens with Horvat. Good game by Utah, but show up next time. Islanders show up. Next was the Jets at um, Toronto. Now you got the worst team taking on um, pretty good, decent opponent in the Eastern Conference. Now, um, going into this matchup, Winnipeg was 15, 19, and 4 and 36 points. Toronto 18, 15, and 6 and 42 points. And at the end of 60 minutes, the Maple Leafs beat the Jets by the score of 6-3. I mean, not 6-3, 6-5. Yeah, 6-5. Shots on goal were the Leafs 30, the Jets 40. The Maple Leafs had 35 saves with the Jets 24. Toronto went 1-for-1 on the power play with Winnipeg 1-for-2 on the power play. Now, what to say about this one? After two, it was evenly matched. It was 3-4. It was 4-3, and then somehow the Maple Leafs were clawing their way back. Basically, when Winnipeg scored their fifth goal and they were down by two, they scored three unanswered goals in the third. And I meant, I was watching this on the NHL Network, and I could not believe that the the Maple Leafs just came back from behind a win. They were down by one at the end of two. And then, so yeah, um, very good game. Very proud of Toronto for winning this game. And the Jets did show up also, I'd say. So way to go by the Jets. But Toronto wanted to win more. That's why they got it. So way to go. All right, next was the Pens at home taking on the Red Wings. Entering this matchup, the Wings were 24, 14, and 3, 51 points. The Pens 17, 12, and 9, and 43 points. After 60 minutes, it was tied. It had to go to extra period, and Pittsburgh wins by a score of 4-3. Shots on goal were the Pens 31, the Wings 27. Pet, the Pens had 24 saves. Penguins had 24 saves with the Red Wings 27. Pittsburgh went 1 for 3 on the power play with Detroit 2 for 8 on the power play. You ready for this? This was evenly matched. 100% evenly matched. I mean, it was hilariously evenly matched. Back and forth, back and forth, to where someone had to break. And that was the Red Wings. They broke. But both teams showed up to play. I'm not disappointed in the Red Wings. Pittsburgh wanted this win more. That's why they got it. They fought hard, tooth and nail. Same thing with Detroit, but at the end, the brick wall broke. Detroit's brick wall broke, and that's why they got the win. That's why Pittsburgh got the win. You know, you constantly put pressure on someone, he's eventually going to break. So, way to go by the Pens. Way to go by Detroit. Great game by both teams. You know, new year. Let's see if things keep going the way they should. Next was Montreal at the Hurricanes. Entering the matchup, the Habs were 21, 12, and 6 and 48 points. The Canes 24, 12, and 3 and 51 points at the end of 60 minutes. The Montreal Canadiens beat the Carolina Hurricanes by a score of 7-5. Shots on goal were the Habs 23, the Canes 25. The Canadiens had 20 saves with the Hurricanes 16. Montreal went 0 for 1 on the power play with Carolina 2 for 3. What to say about this game? Well, it was a pretty good game, I have to say. Both teams played their heart out. After one, Carolina had the lead. At the end of two, Montreal had the lead, but it was evenly matched, despite being down by one goal. And despite putting one extra, basically Hurricanes wanted to tie it to send it to overtime. Uh, so they pulled the goalie, and Montreal took advantage of it, and that's why they lost. But it was a good game. I'm very surprised that this ended out good for the Hurricanes. Did they try? Yes. They didn't win, but they tried. And that's what it counts. They showed up. Same thing with Montreal. Both teams showed up. Things were great. Montreal wanted to win more. That's why they got it. So I'm very proud of this game. Very good. Despite the loss, Carolina did good. So I'm not disappointed. Next was Tampa at LA. Entering this matchup, Tampa was 23, 13, and 3 and 49 points. LA 16, 13, and 9 and 41 points. And at the end of 60 minutes, the Tampa Bay Lightning win by a score of 5-3. Shots on goal were the Bolts 24, the Kings 20. The Lightning had 20. The Lightning had 17 saves with the Kings 19. Tampa was 1 for 2 on the power play with LA 2 for 3 on the power play. Um, this was an evenly match game. I have to say it was. This at the end of two periods, it was tied 2-2. Then somehow Tampa did something, and it was tied. Actually, should I say Tampa had a one goal lead. So we think the Kings did. They pulled the goalie to try to tie it this into overtime. Tampa took advantage and they got an empty netter. So that's why they won. Now, am I disappointed in the Kings? No. Despite the loss, they showed up. Same thing with the Lightning. They showed up. So both teams did a great job playing this game. There are some teams that show up and there are some teams that don't, and both teams showed up. It's unlike the Islanders game where they didn't show up or just totally shut down after a certain period or during a certain period. This game was hard fought all the way through. So way to go by both teams. And I'm glad for, the games, Tampa wanted to win more, that's why they got it. So by the way, I hope you guys like the blue line Mark St. Louis shirt or jersey. I'll show it to you guys real fast. It's a blue line series. It's got the patch right here. This is more of a plastic patch. It's not the actual patch. It's not like the blue line series. I mean the power play series, but still good. Let me see the back. Good jersey. I like it. Sorry, I hit the desk, so that's why you saw the camera shake. Next was Dallas at Chicago. Entering the matchup, Dallas was 25-8-7. Chicago 14-18-7 and 35 points at the end of 60 minutes. The Blackhawks beat the Stars by the score of 4-3. Shots on goal were the Hawks 21, the Stars 25. The Blackhawks had 22 saves with the Stars 17. Chicago went 2 for 4 on the power play with Dallas 0 for 1 on the power play. Um, and Chicago pretty much has won the series. They got one more in Dallas in March. So now, what to say about this game? This was an evenly matched game. I had to say, both teams came to play. Despite being down by two at the end of two periods, Dallas came right back and scored two of their own, and it was tied up. And then of course, but actually, what happened was when Chicago scores that fourth goal in the third, early in the third, um, pretty much sealed the fate. But Dallas comes back, gets two of their own, try to work their way, getting that tying goal. Didn't happen. I know they put pressure on the goalie. Who was the goalie tonight? Check. Who was that goalie tonight? Oh, Knight. And I know they put pressure on Knight to, you know, so he could bust and they could tie. But both teams played great. I'm not disappointed in the Stars too much. I'm kind of disappointed that Chicago won because I don't root for them. But overall, good game. And Chicago wanted to win more. That's the main thing. And they won in game one out Bernard. Um, Once again, sometime coming soon, he'll be reevaluated. Hopefully, he's not injured too badly. He'll be back. So we'll wait and see. And finally, the Predators at Seattle. Entering the match at Nashville was 18-17-4 and 40 points. Seattle 16-14-7 and 39 points. And at the end of 60 minutes, the Seattle Kraken beat the Nashville Predators by the score of 4-1. Shots on goal were the Kraken 23, the Preds 25. The Kraken had 24 saves with the Predators 19. Seattle went 0 for 1 on the power play with Nashville 1 for 2 on the power play. What to say about this one? After one, it was 3-0. It was pretty much a blowout. Nashville did get one in the second, which kind of made it equal length. But when Seattle scored that fourth goal, it was over, and Nashville just did not show up. Seattle wanted this win for a reason, and they got it. They came out blaring, and they just did great. I don't know why Nashville didn't show up, but that was their doing. I'm not really disappointed in Nashville. I'm pretty disappointed. Actually, I'm pretty disappointed in Nashville for not showing up. It's like they didn't want the win. But what can I say? I'm not a psychic. Okay, but we'll wait and see what happens going into the season. So, how did I do today? Out of the 8 games, I went 3-4-1 to put me at 96, 71, and 24 for the season now. So that's not bad. Not bad at all. Water, by the way. Water. I need to drink a lot of it. All right, folks. We got 4 games on the dot tomorrow. Also, the Winter Classic is tomorrow. So I better get off here. I gotta work again. Unfortunately. Yeah. But I love you guys a lot. Thank you for tuning in. As always, folks, please stay safe. Take care. Never the words watching it, and I'll see you guys later on. Um, Actually, I'm going to give you a World Junior update and give you my picks for the games tomorrow. And that's about it, folks. So until then, peace.